All right, hello everyone. Today we are with Coach Russ. He's a life coach and personal development coach. And we are eager to have him here with us. Thank you for
Thank you
coming.
so much for being here.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I'm excited. Let's go
Yeah.
and do this.
So before we start, maybe you can share something about yourself to the audience who don't know you.
Yeah, my name is Russ, and I enjoy helping a lot of people getting over whatever insecurities they have, whatever things that they feel that's not working for them. And I do this through life coaching. I make myself available online, and I also have classes, to help people develop the way they think, acknowledge how they feel, and above all, being able to guide them with things that they can do that they can improve themselves, not just living life for a living, but living life really as if their life is just so much fun and excitement. So that's what I do.
Wow. So what made you decide to get inside this industry?
Nice question. I guess I was able to find out that my life wasn't really that perfect because I grew up, with all of disadvantage in the world, feeling ugly, feeling dumb, feeling nobody, a lot of insecurities. And then after I finished school, I started working as a janitor.
Oh, wow.
And I
Yeah.
found out that the only way I can create better life was through personal development. So as early as 21 years old, was able to read Think and Grow Rich and being able to just develop myself and allowed myself to be the best of who I am and was promoted from a promodizer to a salesman. Worked only for one company. At age 35, I felt I was the most successful human being alive. I know for myself. Financially, I got it. Recognition, I got it. Except at that moment, I felt really empty. I felt, my world wasn't working, but nobody knew about it because I guess I perfected the art of looking perfect. For what sake? Like me, approve me, and because I felt nobody liked me. So I stumbled upon a life coach who directed me to a path of, we call it awakening, that every struggle I had at the time was also coming from myself. And now I realize if I'm struggling, it's never about mom and dad, it's never about the country, it's never about my company or the business, but it was all about the things that's going on inside me that I need to take a look at too. And I would always say that my pain becomes now my calling to support other people. Okay, maybe a lot of people in the world are going through what I went through, and I want to support them, or will go through what I went through, or might be able to, support themselves through this work that I do. So it's been more than 15 years already that I've been doing this,
Wow.
and I'm just really enjoying it.
Okay, nice. So a question that came into my mind is that what was driving you back then when you said at 21 you
Yep.
started until 35,
Yep.
and what is driving you after 35 years old? What's the differences there? Because from 21 to 35 you got what you wanted anyway.
Yep.
But you felt empty
Exactly.
inside. So what shifted? What was the difference? A lot of people might say, okay, you got it anyway with that mindset when you had on 21 to 35. So what was it missing?
I think between 21 to 35, I was in the matrix, meaning this is what you should do. Being able to do things for money, for career, for success. And yet I got it. And the more I climbed up to the ladder of success, as they call, the more I felt empty. No, the more I felt so lonely. And then I realized, only in my coaching conversation with my first life coach, was my success was coming from proving. I have to prove to the world so that the world would accept me, the world would love me. And that's where all the trouble came in. It's because, I want to be successful. I cannot let go of this. I cannot let go of that. It was actually my ego that was running so that I get approval from the world. In my awakening moment, I call it awakening moment, at age 35 during my life coaching, I realized that I need not to run after all of this, because the only approval I need was my own approval, was me liking me myself. And that's where I started to realize that I want to give up the life that was killing me in the past, for me to now start moving from ego to mission, ego to helping others. And in that way, I can actually support myself, not only just having the finance that I want, but also the fulfillment. So now working not for money alone, but working simply because I know this is what I'm called for. And it's all about having that fulfillment, that I feel good about myself, especially when I am by myself. And the way I do that is to support others also. Maybe just get over, no, whatever obstacles I had growing up to where I'm at right now.
So, how long have you been a life coach?
Since 2007, let's say 16 or 17 years.
Okay, so what is the common problem you see that people approach you with inside young generation?
Wow, for young generation, it's really a sense of direction. Okay, Gen Z are always in a hurry. They want to be successful right away. Okay, they see Mr. Beast, they see Top G, and they want to be like that right away. As young as 9, 10, 11 years old, they're asking me, how can I get out of the matrix? And I guess
That young?
yeah.
Wow.
And I guess that can be, you know, a huge, you know, world humanity problem, simply because young people right now, simply because of technology, they do not have the ability to interact with people, because all they interact is the digital world.
Screen,
Okay, so the way I see it is, the connection from deep inside is no longer there. Unlike I grew up playing outside, I grew up having all of this stuff in terms of adversity quotient, in terms of emotional intelligence. But the way I see it, the young people don't have that access right now, simply because, again, they were born with cell phones on their hands. So the relationship with technology is so high, they forget about being human.
Now, okay, when you say talk about emotional intelligence, right? So you're saying that young people right now, they're lacking that part a bit?
A lot. There's no human connection, simply because, again, when you look at their world, most probably it's not the real world that we always see, right? We post Instagram. We don't post Instagram about all our problems. All we post are great stuff. But behind the great stuff, people went through a lot and overcame.
Yeah.
They don't know that that's the way it is. All they know, it's everything is instant. I post one, okay? If I get viral, then that's what I want, and they get addicted to it. So again, they lack, number one, emotional, you know, quotient, intelligence in handling, being with people, being in relation with people. But above all, the biggest problem I see in young people right now is the adversity quotient. That means if they get frustrated, okay, they easily give up. I mean, I cannot imagine 12, 13, 15 years old would message me and say, you know, I'm suicidal, I'm depressed. In my age, we don't even know what depression is. We don't even know what suicidal tendency is. It's a taboo, but right now they can openly talk about it. So comfortable, and it's just like, you know, eating candy.
Yeah.
As if it's available to anyone and everyone. Again, I'm not disrespecting those who have those feelings, except that maybe because of technology. Okay, I love technology, don't get me wrong. However, we have the obligation to support children to be like a human being, wherein we have to develop, you know, the physical mobility. Okay, there's no movement anymore. We don't see children playing on the streets. Okay, the emotional quotient, wherein, you know, the moment you feel frustrated, you just say, okay, that's part of the game. Get up, do something around it. They want instant recognition. They want instant affirmation, which will allow them to be weak in terms of their emotion.
I think another factor we have to look at is that the older generation is to blame for this, because having access to technology, they did not take the time to influence the younger generation correctly. Nowadays, we are seeing a lot of younger people being more aware, right? So the reason why they message you is because they're aware of their feelings. So what I realized, Gen Z has a lot of awareness because they're always on their phone, they're always consuming content. So if the content out there is good, like yours, that's why I think we need more people like that, right? They start questioning themselves, right? Okay, why am I not going to the gym? Okay, this guy is telling me he's got everything in order, like Top G, for example, like you mentioned. He's got everything in order. I want to be like him. There's not enough people using technology, older people, to influence the younger generation correctly. Because we cannot, for me, it's hard to, I'm not saying you're blaming them or anything, it's just from my perspective. Because a lot of us would sit down there and start, being like, okay, 12-year-old is suicidal or this or that. Why? What's the reason? Who are the ones who are creating this content online? What type of content is being pushed? So I feel like we need to be more responsible. Especially the ones who are running these platforms maybe, or the ones who create content for their own gain. Because a lot of, in today's world, right? When you look at Instagram and TikTok, okay, everybody wants to be inspirational, okay? Let's be honest. We want to be inspirational, you want to be inspirational, we want to be there because it has something for us as well, because we are selfish, right? We're selfish. That's why we do that, and it's not a bad thing, right? And then a lot of these guys end up following the wrong role model. So it starts from the family, I guess, from the parents, and then not monitoring them correctly or not instilling the right values into their children, because everyone's so busy working, trying to make a life, right? Because life is hard right now, right? It's harder than ever for the ones who are trying to make it. It's hard because you have everything is going up in price, inflation and everything. Everybody has to work in a household. So the child is kind of clueless at times.
Yeah, I agree with that because, like you said, we should be a bit responsible for it. Like teach our children, like maybe you can take what is good out of that content. If something that is like sit beside them, if he's watching, let's say, Top G all the time, if the videos are, because it's on TikTok all day, right?
Yeah.
I see it, probably everybody sees it. So if I see it, the kid is gonna see it too, right? So let's say if the 14-year-old is watching these videos, the father can sit down or the mother can sit down and then be like, take the good thing. Yes, discipline is good. Yes, going to the gym is good. Yes, having emotional intelligence, being able to control your emotions, all these things will help you become a better man, taking care of the woman, all these things, right? And then making sure that they know what are jokes, what are not jokes, right? Because these things can be taken out of context and easily consumed by children, right? So I completely get his point. Yeah, but let's go back to your coaching life. Now the problem we saw was for kids, right? So let's say people who are older, 13 above. Is really the main concern is achieving something?
I think for now, if I were to look at all the people who approach me because they see my content, that's about 200 to 300 messages every day in my inbox.
Yeah.
I can safely say 90% of the problem that they want me to support them with is finances. Now, when we are there, coaching conversation, 100% of the problem is never about the finance, but it's about the way they think, okay? But most probably, I can safely say 90% is that a lot of people go through life with emotional pain, emotional baggages, more than that, traumas we, receive as a little child, as a teenager, as an adult, that we carry, that we tend to set aside because we need to create money, we need to earn money, we need to make a living. And that is set aside right now. And the more people run after money, the more they're unhappy. It's simply because there's too much things that was disregarded, And I would always say that the emotion of humanity right now is disregarded simply because we have to do this, we need to do this. It's all about making a living more than just living a life wherein it has to be happy, peaceful, and contented.
Okay, let's talk about that. So how do you process that? Let's say as a young guy, or me right now, I'm 33 years old and I have some uh, emotional issues or trauma or stuff like that. Uh, I want to hear it from you. How do you, what advice do you give to someone who wants to process?
Or what are the steps?
Okay.
What's the first step?
As a life coach, I never give advice. That's a no-no. The steps, the process is number one, that you will have to bring the person into a certain level of awareness that whatever trouble you have right now in your life, this is not about what the eyes can see, but it's what's behind it. Okay? And the most important of what's behind it is I am responsible for all the failures I make. I am responsible for all the success I make. So if that is your come from right now, that I am responsible for everything that's going on in my life, therefore, if you're not solving your own problem, knowing that you are the solution to your problem, people go sorts into drama, justification, excuses, and they will still believe their BS that they want to blame everyone
That's so true.
except themselves.
Yeah.
So the awareness here is that as a coach, hey, thank you for sharing, and what do you want out of this story? And most of the time, 100% of the time, they say, oh, because of mommy, because of daddy, because of my boss, because of my ex, da. Okay, stop it. They're not here. Let's talk about what do you want, right? Now they know, okay, I want to be better at this. Okay, and the only solution there is to take responsibility of what had happened in the past, that you can maybe start saying, okay, acceptance of the past, that you cannot undo whatever happened in the past. If it's people that's hurting you, compassion. Especially parents, they don't know, they only know how to raise you the best way they know how. Okay? And then if it's really painful, then forgiveness. So again, all of the things that is solving my problem, solving humanity problem, is what I decide upon by embracing all of these success qualities. But above all, after forgiveness, is take responsibility. You can no longer blame them. So again, it's all about bringing them to a certain level of awareness that you are responsible for your life. Number two, if you want to take responsibility, take action around it, then that's what we call hold yourself accountable. And the change, the solution will come with a new choice. So maybe if it's finances, the new choice of stop blaming your boss, the economy, the country. Start choosing to be responsible and be the best of where you are. Because in the end, this is what I believe. No, if where you are is where you are right now, and you're giving your best, you're adding value. I mean, people around you will pay you the amount of the money that you want to earn, and if not, somebody else will.
Right.
And that's, I should say, the best solution for everyone who's having challenges in terms of their finances.
Okay. You mentioned ego a while ago. I want to go back to that. So, what's the fine line? Is it bad to have ego? Is it good to have ego? Does it depend on the situation? Is it totally bad? What?
Okay,
in your perspective?
ego is normal. Except that when I am not aware that I am on my ego mode and I keep on doing that, it keep on pushing me. Ego is actually telling you to push hard, to push further, be attached, and it's taking you away from your peace of mind. It's taking you away from happiness. It's taking you away from living a life simply because you're always running after the things that you are not in full control of. So I'm not saying it's good or bad, right or wrong. What I'm saying here is just be aware, okay, that yeah, I am on my ego mode, and I am letting this go if it's no longer working. So I would always say that ego would always, strike separation. I'm better than you, you're better than me. Wanting for more, wanting for achievement. Again, nothing wrong, except that when you live your life all about achievement, all about wanting more, you tend to forget, I think, the most important part of life, which is really just enjoying life, really just being in a space of peace and happiness and joy.
So, okay, so let's say, how do you build the base level of a strong mindset? Like for me or for Sam, it was going to the gym,
Okay.
right? Because we learned a lot. I learned a lot that, okay, if I go to the gym, because it's not
Early age.
one day, right? It's consistency
Nice.
through the years, right? So you get to be patient. You get to commit to something,
Yep.
right? And then you learn that, and then you apply it on your life, right? That was the base level. How I was like, okay, patience, hard work, consistency.
Yep.
I will get results eventually, right? But then, how do you start it with not going this route, right?
Nice. You agree with me that every single thing that's going on in our lives starts with the way we think.
True.
Right.
Yeah.
And the way we think affects the way we feel. And the way we feel affects the way we behave. And the way we behave will actually ultimately create the result that we want. So physically, we have a gym. Okay? Emotionally, I don't know where to go to train my heart to be happy and excited. However, mentally, the only gym that was introduced to the world was school. No, I have nothing against school except that I just feel that whatever that I learned from school was never about having a great life, but was just to follow instruction, behave, okay, sit up straight, but it was never about living life. So the most important mental gym that I would always say is get yourself into a certain level of personal growth and development. So which means spend an hour a day, which I did for the past 20 years, to learn something new. I devour all, the personal development programs that every day up until now at 52 or 53. So that now creates a new mindset for me. However, if I want to speed up my process, what does it mean? Okay, in the personal development, we all were wired up to train about goal setting, which is actually just on the surface. We call it the conscious mind. Okay, and the way we change our behavior is working on your subconscious, which is your new programming. Okay, that takes very long. But if I really want and I'm serious about going to the gym so that I can have peace of mind, I can have happiness, whether I have something that I want or I don't get what I want, I'm still at peace. Only one. It's called meditation.
Meditation, yeah.
Okay, let's get into meditation.
Yo!
Meditation.
We love meditating.
So
yeah.
we love talking about this topic because personally, me and Tohid, we've been living on our own. I was 16, you were 13, 14. So,
Okay.
living by yourself without your parents, being totally independent, forcing to be totally independent from an early age, right? Experiencing all the stuff in life. And let's be honest, it's not all rainbows and butterflies, right? There's a lot of things that happen that don't go your way, and you don't have the emotional maturity to deal with it, right? So the trauma, like you said, or the insecurities build up, right, at some point. And then what we found out is that I think we started meditating when? 20?
Wow.
20,
Probably,
21, 22.
I think you started earlier than me. Me around that age, 22, 23. You were 25.
22, you were
Yeah.
18,
Yeah.
but then after when you
Yeah.
reached 20s, you started meditating too. And then this helped us really process everything that is
Nice.
going on in our life, become more aware and more at peace with everything that is happening in our environment, surrounding, with the people and everything, and starting to become more responsible, right? So it had a profound effect on our life. And let's talk about it from your perspective,
but
your
let
experience.
Let me first give you feedback. I believe you because the moment I enter this space, I feel at peace right away the first time. you had nothing except kindness.
Thank you so much.
You
Yeah.
had nothing except compassion.
Thank you so
And
much.
that's where you see a person who is at peace with himself, okay? And still creating a lot of impact in other way, shape, or form is simply a source of the abundance of life.
Yes.
No, and when we were starting to talk about it, and I like it simply because not a lot. In fact, few people understands my journey, and maybe if I can share the history why I got to where I'm at right now. So again, at age 21, I felt I was the worst in all areas, obese, like 40-inch waistline. I didn't know how to communicate. I didn't like myself at all. And then I started realizing that personal development is the way to go. So I devoured all, John Maxwell, Zig Ziglar, Anthony Robbins, all the way to Oprah. I devoured all this, and if there's one common thing that they would recommend if you want to create, success or impact in the world, is meditate. And it was sealed upon when I stumbled upon Abraham Hicks, Ask and it shall be given. And it all started wherein, flow and ease is just happening. So I started just really checking up until 2019 of October. I started going real meditation, because sometimes meditation, I sit down, close my eyes, breathe, guided. But for me personally, what got me up until now to do my long and really on the same hour of the day is allowed me to create the most beautiful I could always imagine life. No, I think I have 7 beautiful benefit of meditation. Number 1, it's always work and play become one, and I can see that here. Which means it's you don't even know you're working, you don't even you're playing. It's just you just feel blissful at any given time, right? That's the major. Number 2, I have direct access to creativity, meaning I run seminars every week, almost every day, and I'm just fascinated that everything that I say is brand new. Everything I say, it's not just, it's not just it's the same thing, but it's wow, where did that come from? I know it's actually direct access from the creativity, the source of creativity. Number 3, ease and flow. What does it mean? When I want something, as if the universe just arrange everything for me to be where I need to be, and if it's not, I understand the process. I think number 4 is I understand win-win in all relationship. What does it mean? No, there are people, especially in business, may betray us, may hurt us. You totally understand that these people are gift for you to learn something, so you can move to your next level.
Right.
Okay. Next is abundance in all areas in life. Okay. Maybe it's time, energy, effort, money. That everything that you want is just available for you. Okay. And last is actually bending reality. What does it mean? I have a vision, let's say 30 years from now. Okay, I started talking about it. I said I'm gonna get this before my 70th birthday. Before my 50th birthday, it was given to me just like that. So what happened along the way is because I went through a process of training my mind to relax every day. That when I train my mind to relax every day, it is as if I'm training myself to think like the universe, to think like God. Wherein I always believe that my God is a non-judgmental God. So which means if there are thoughts showing up that can be scary thoughts, I will just allow it to pass by. Interesting? Then because if I'm non-judgmental with my thoughts, which means I don't judge it as good or bad, right or wrong, it is what it is, then I don't judge. And because I don't judge, now I go to non-resistance. You always hear this from Esther Hicks. Do not resist. Allow it, allow it. The resistance comes from judgment. But if I train myself to be non-judgmental, then I get to non-resistance. When I go into state of non-resistance, you move to the next, which is actually non-controlling, which means, okay, I don't want it, but you know what? I'm just excited of how will this unfold. You don't want to control things. That's taking away your peace, your happiness, because you want to control things, no? Then lastly is what you call surrender. What does it mean? You know that there's a higher being, higher power, God, universe, who is in full control. Let His will be done.
Okay. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for that. The 7 points, amazing.
Yeah.
So
No, I got that from Vision Lakiani. It's from the Code of Extraordinary Mind. That's the what we call the limitless being benefit,
nice.
characteristics of a limitless being.
Well, it is
Can we
easier
go
said
more
than
into
done.
details?
Yes, sir.
I want to go more into details about your experience in meditation. So, what happens? Because I know everyone has different experiences, right? Maybe share one or two experience with the audience watching. That what was like something that you remember in one of your sessions?
Okay, when I meditate, I just sit down. Okay, it doesn't matter whether I sit like this or whatever. It's just sit down, close your eyes. Okay. I never had an experience wherein you levitate and all of this stuff that
Yeah,
we
yeah.
want.
Yeah.
Never. Okay. Good for you. But the thing around the instant result experience is kindness, compassion, and if something that normally get you out of the zone or frenzy, you just say, okay, sure. So I don't have what I call, I don't sweat the small stuff anymore. So he says, okay, sure, right. Um, a lot of magical things happen to me. I mean, things that my people closest to me would always say, Panginoon ka ba? Are you God? Because, a lot of things that's going on for me is just so magical that cannot even be explained. And when it shows up in front of me, I would just say, okay, I know that already because, I have fully surrendered. Always remember that everyone who comes into me and asking for coaching, it's simply because they live their life based on fear, doubt, and worry. That when you start to fear about something, then you start doubting yourself, then you start to live in worry, and that's in a space of resistance. And we always say, when you resist something, it will always show up.
So you're manifesting either way, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because the manifestation doesn't say do's and don't, but it's just you do not manifest what you want, you manifest who you are.
you are.
And who you are is whatever energy vibration you vibrate. So it's either you look at this world as a friendly world, it will cooperate with you, or you look at this as an enemy that everyone's against you. Either or, you're right. But the thing around right now, a lot of people lives in fear, doubt, and worry. And I would always say, depression is because of there's fear, there's doubt, there's worry. Anxiety is also the same thing. Then I would always say, get into a space wherein we move the fear, doubt, and worry to what I call faith. Meaning, there's a higher power, higher being. You don't know how it looks like, you don't know what it is, but you believe He's a God of abundance, He's a God of goodness and kindness. And then just walk in hope, meaning still be excited, whether you're getting the things that you want or not. Just act in hope, act in enthusiasm. Okay? But above all, in everything that you do, put in love. But I mean, in whoever you meet, put in love, because that is who you truly are. And that's a training that you want to get into yourself on a day-to-day basis by sitting down, closing your eyes, do nothing, and allow Him to work for you, with you.
So you talked about faith, right? One of the hardest thing that I had to learn was not being attached to an outcome, right? Attachment. It was extremely difficult until now, right? It's hard, but I've learned how to detach myself, right? What do you recommend people start doing to start not being attached so much?
I think that's the biggest concept to swallow for a lot of people, especially businessmen.
Yeah.
right? That we want to be in full control. We want this, we want that. We want to make sure numbers are coming in. We want to make sure this and that. And we'll do whatever it takes. And I think it's really hard to do that simply because we were all wired up to see is to believe. Rather than you will only see it when you believe in it. I mean, according to the Bible, if I may quote,
Yeah.
faith are the things we hope for certain things we do not see. So, which means you do not believe in the higher power that is available for you simply because you want to make it your way. Nothing wrong around it. A lot of people create that kind of result, except what's the quality of their life? What's the happiness and joy and the peace? Well, I want to control this. I want to run after this. I want to run after that. Then therefore, yes, you may get it, but a lot of times no. But notice how we sacrifice our peace of mind, our happiness, and sacrifice life itself.
Is this something that happens as you grow older? Do you think?
I think, according to anthroposophy, no, the 7-year cycle, especially when you hit age 35. Okay, so that is now where you now start to take a look at on, okay, 1 to 7, okay, this is just based on what I remember, is physical. You need to start learning. That's why we want children to go out and play. If you look at Japan, if you look at the first world country, children just playing. Okay? And then 7 to 14 is actually you're developing your mind right now. That's why you go to school, grade 1, 7. Okay. And then from 21 to 35, this is now your exploration. Okay. Making sure that you practice your mind and your body. But the moment you hit around age 35, your soul, your spirit is longing for something more important. That explains at age 35, I was at the peak of my career, but internally I felt really low because I wasn't living my calling. I wasn't living a spiritual life.
Yeah, the search for meaning begins.
That is.
Right?
That
At
is.
35, I guess that's what you're referring to.
They call it Christ year, 33 to 35. So the search for meaning. And if you are not fully aware and you're just operating out of, they say, the matrix,
Yeah.
you grow old looking at, is this life? I mean, I'm living the world without even me truly enjoying life because it was all about something else except my own greatness.
Okay, let's go to your routine because you have a crazy routine. Can you share your routine with the audience? Because it's very interesting.
I see to it. I have a great rest every day. So which means by 9 or 10, whether there are guests at home or not, I'm at the bed already. I make sure I sleep without looking at my phone at least an hour, because I always believe when you sleep, it's like marinating the last thoughts you have. So most of the things that I see in the internet are just very entertaining. It's pleasurable, but it's not really the thought that I want. Okay, so it's feeding more of my ego more than just feeding what I want. So I sleep. Before I sleep, I sit down 10, 20 minutes to meditate. However, I trained myself to be up every day. I have not missed a single day since when? Since 4 years ago. I'm up at least 4 a.m. So I do my meditation 4 to 5 a.m. Sometimes.
Why 4 to 5?
I just found out from, this is from the YouTube, that between 3:40 to 4:40, this is where the world is so in sync. So when I do that, I just noticed my entire day was so in sync that nothing goes wrong because I am actually aligned with the world. That's how I feel. That's how I experience. So the 4 to 5 also is I'm advancing myself. So which means I'm never busy. Okay, overwhelmment and stress is not part of my vocabulary. Simply because if I'm up by 4 to 5 a.m., I finish what I'm supposed to do, which is my meditation. Okay, and then I hit my yoga mat. I do my yoga. I do my dumbbells, and then I spend at least an hour to listen to something, and then start doing my calls. I think by 9 a.m. I'm done with my work. So from 9 all the way to, let's say, 7 in the evening, it's all about giving myself to people who needs me.
Wow. That's the life.
4 a.m. I cannot wake up 4 a.m. 6:37 maximum.
Yeah. Because I'm not sure. There's different levels of, I don't know if it's thought process or meditation. They call it like alpha, theta. I don't know if you're familiar
Okay,
with.
I am not sure of the, I should say, the terms, but I'll just use my own terms.
Yeah.
Okay? Because a lot of times what we want is just here in our conscious mind. And based on study, conscious mind operates at least 1, maximum 5% of the time. Okay, but a lot of time it's always 1%. No, this is where I want to be fit and healthy. I want to have 6-pack abs. But how come is that happening? Because subconsciously, you were not trained, you were not wired up, you grew up not doing anything. So in other words, if you take a look at, again, all the money seminars, no, they said just affirm, visualize, it's all here. I'm a millionaire, but it's still 10 years, I'm still broke. Why? Because subconsciously, which was actually formed between 0 to 4 years old, 50% of your subconscious, how we operate right now, was coming from 0 to 4 years old, from parents.
Yeah.
Okay, and then from 5 to 11 years old, again in school. Okay, and then 11 to, let's say, 12 to 18 years old is from your peers. So as 18-year-old, you're done already. Not unless you start reconditioning it. So what I would always say when we meditate, especially early in the morning, your conscious mind is still sleepy, so you don't think much about the worries that you
Right.
have. Okay, the subconscious mind is suspended as well. What I feel, I think they call it alpha state. You're actually connecting directly to the superconscious. And superconscious, I call it soul, I call it spirit, I call it the God in you, the greatness in you. That when you have access towards it, you become limitless. You become to think, to act, to move yourself into a direction wherein you're unstoppable. You're just creating, grand things in your life. And it's all about just in awe of the endless possibility that's available for you.
That's it. I'm waking up 4 a.m. meditating.
So it's best if your mind is quiet, right?
Very.
If you can. So
Okay.
before that, you have to make your mind quiet, because a lot of people that I talk to, I'm sure you hear it a lot too, like friends, people. It's like, but I can't stop my mind from thinking, right? That's the common thread that you hear. You're not supposed to actually stop your mind from thinking.
It's
right?
like stopping your heart from pumping.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
cannot.
You're just acknowledging the thoughts and then watching them pass by. But then a lot of people have this problem. And I think, in my own experience, for you to reach that state that you're talking about, your mind, to a degree, should be totally empty, right? To a degree, it should be at peace and calm. And that's when the thoughts begin to really, really slow down. You become totally conscious of them. And then you're the one directing. You become the creator, right?
Ideally, that should be. But again, for the 4 years, whenever I sit down, okay, I still thoughts showing up, things that I don't wanna, think about. But I guess what I like best is, I always believe that in order for me to move forward, I need to get rid of all of my packages. So every time I do my meditation, especially in the early part of like 3 years ago, there are, faces of people that I see that I haven't been, connecting with. And I know it was an unfinished business. That after my meditation, that was my time to say, hey, Sam, you showed up in my meditation today. You know what? Whatever happened in the past, I'm letting it go. Please forgive me if I hurt you. I'm forgiving you for hurting me. God bless you. Have a good life ahead. It's really just clearing my mind around it. It's just really training for my intuition to be strong so that I'm well guided. And I would always say that I have not yet reached a certain level that my mind is empty. But the moment a discouraging thought shows up, I just take a deep breath, letting it go, And then I would always say, universe surprised me.
Mm-hmm.
Which means my trust level to whatever he is planning for me is now unfolding. It's simply because I trained my mind to just watch my thoughts, not get, so this is the thoughts are showing up. That's why people cannot stop thinking because they start to what he said that what happened and then he did
And
that he
then it
did that
goes
he
in
did
the
that,
rabbit hole, yeah.
and then it goes down. Here, okay, yeah, he said that that wasn't fair. It's okay, let it go. And another thought shows up. It's okay, let it go. And that's the whole day for me.
Do you think sometimes, aside from thoughts, this has something to do with the energy that you embody?
Exactly.
And then based on your past experiences or the people you come across with, because when you came here, you said it's a good energy,
It is.
right? So how does meditation affect your awareness when it comes to your own energy and the energy of your surrounding, the people around you, your environment,
Yeah.
and life energy in general?
That's why you're mindful. That's why it's called
Yeah.
meditation, because you're mindful. And how does it affect? Always remember, right? When you're tired, okay, you sleep. And at the moment you oversleep, do you get full rest and you are energized, or you get even tired?
Yeah, you get more tired, yeah.
Exactly. Why is this? Simply because most of the energy that's draining humanity is that our conscious and subconscious is fighting. Okay. Your conscious mind is, I can do this, but subconsciously, where? And it's fighting. When you meditate, it's not going to fight. It will be set aside.
Sync.
It's set aside. You go directly to the superconscious, which is your wish is my command.
So how do you use meditation to manifest your desired life?
Okay, it's simple. I mean, if we look at the principle of manifestation from Esther Hicks, it's be in a state of non-resistance. And when you are practicing of day-to-day meditation, you train your mind not to judge things right away. Okay, yes, this is bad, and you know what? I'm excited. How will this unfold? So remember, okay, you train your mind. However, because you train your mind to be non-judgmental, to be non-resistant, to be surrendering to whatever is going on, then what becomes your emotion? Is it about fear, doubt, and worry, or is it about excitement?
Yeah.
Excitement, yeah.
That's a big challenge, though,
Yeah.
to be totally non-judgmental, right? It's
That's
it's
super
the one
hard,
of
yeah.
the one is the
Okay.
attachment, and another one to be non-judgmental, because I believe, it's something that you have to consciously do again and again and
The
again,
whole day,
and it's
especially
a
if you're
never-ending journey and process
Okay.
of growth.
I tell you, I'm still very judgmental, except right now I know how to suspend my judgment.
Like
Right?
the ego you were
The
talking.
ego.
Yes.
Okay. Recently, I just received a call, no, and that call was a really, a very devastating, I should say, betrayal I felt. I just took a deep breath and said, "Yeah, that's bad." Then I judge, and you know what? I'm letting it go. The faster you let go of your judgment and allow things to surface, the more you manifest whatever you want in your life.
So that's a conscious decision.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
In fact, if I can share with you what I learned from Vishen Lakiani about the 4 levels of consciousness. Okay. First level of consciousness is culturescape, meaning the world happens to you and you are a victim. Okay. COVID, I cannot do anything. A lot of people think that way. I'm a victim. Okay. By accident, people move to level 2. You, by accident, you move to level 2, which is you have to be on your own. You have no parents to support you. You have no friends who help you. Okay. And then you start looking for a book, right?
Yeah.
That's what you call awakening stage. Awakening stage is, yes, the world happens to you, and you have a choice to look at it as still the victim, or wow, I can grow from this. I can expand from this. Now you stay here long enough, hard enough, being in the self-development, using all the tools, the crystals, the bars, the whatever. Get into all of these modalities and just experiment what works for you. And then you start to reprogram yourself. Number 3. Okay, and the beautiful part about reprogramming yourself is that you forgot who you were before. You forgot what was your old way of thinking because you now installed new way of thinking.
You change your whole paradigm.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like being grateful, being kind is already who you are, but you forgot about you being an a-hole in the past, right? Because you changed your paradigm already. The beautiful part about level 3, which is what I call reprogram, is you need not to set goals. You need not to do all of this stuff because your goals will come through you, not by you. Here, you work hard. Here, no longer work hard because you are now well guided. But the only tool you need here is no longer about personal development because that's already ingrained in you. Still meditation. Why? Because you need to start working on intuition. Intuition is about you're well guided, your decision. No, I know a trader who's very popular in the Philippines. He told Russ, ever since you started telling me about meditation and I practice this, all my trades are just doing well. And if I don't, it's not. So he's well guided, okay? And the longer you stay in the meditation practice, you move to number 4, which is what we call limitless being. Okay, limitless is all about, okay, here, the world happens to me, I'm a victim. The world happens to me and I have a choice. The world is inside me. So if I feel shitty, my
Everything
world
else,
will
yeah.
be shitty. Then you have to take care of your internal. Here, I co-create my world, my creator. Or I create my own world, right? So, interesting, the only tool on the last part is actually forgiveness. And it's measured. Which means the faster you forgive and let go of the things that you don't like, the more you create more of what you want. Okay? We don't talk about the last, which is God-minded or Christ consciousness, where you walk in the water, you turn water into
That's
wine.
like
So we
the
don't get there.
ultimate level.
We don't get there.
It's like 1 in trillions, I guess.
But according
last one.
again to Vishen Lakiani, ayahuasca.
Oh yeah.
Ayahuasca. Have you tried ayahuasca?
Where? Philippines or somewhere
I'd
else?
rather not talk about it for now because
In the mountains
when
of
I say
the Philippines.
something, a lot of people want to do it, and
They're not ready for it.
I'm not sure if I'm ready to talk about it. But for now,
Yeah.
I just want people to go through the process because some people want to go directly to, again, what's easy, what's fun, what's exciting. Okay, just get marijuana.
Marijuana makes you.
Plant medicine.
Forgiveness is hard. Let's go back to forgiveness.
Yeah.
Because you said the last part, it's all about forgiveness. Forgiving yourself,
Yep.
right? Forgiving others.
Yep.
This is something that I think many people struggle with, whether it comes to their personal close relationships or friends or acquaintances or business dealings, like you said. Sometimes some people are so hard on themselves, they don't forgive themselves, right?
They go into shame and guilt,
Yeah.
which is the lowest form of energy. And guilt is about not forgiving myself for the mistake I've done. And that's where a lot of people get themselves into real deep trouble. But let me give you a new perspective. Which is easier, not forgiving or forgiving?
Not forgiving.
Okay, tell me, if you do not forgive, okay, are there prices to pay?
Of course. It's
Okay.
like not going to the gym. It's easier,
Exactly.
but then you won't be healthy and
Exactly.
you'll get sick.
So,
Yeah.
so not forgiving is what? You don't have peace of mind. You're unhappy. Okay, you don't create what you want. You feel shitty the whole day, right? But when you forgive, are there benefits?
Yeah.
What?
Peace of mind.
Peace of mind. And it's a
Happiness,
process. It's
yeah.
not easy.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
That's why you train yourself to suspend judgment and say, okay, this is something I want to work on. This person is a gift to me. This person will bring me to my next level. But I have to start letting it go.
Okay, do you think the route you're on right now as a human being and this conscious being that is sitting us with here right now with this presence and a wonderful message to share to the world is mostly or partly because of the things that you dealt with in the past, the forgiveness that you struggled to bestow upon yourself and others, the ego
Yep.
that you once had and you struggled with? Do you how much of that is there?
100%. That whatever I went through, all the wounds that I choose to heal so I can heal other people. And that's true that the perception of forgiving is hard simply because, again, ego wants you to stay.
Right.
I'm right, they're wrong, and it should not happen that way. And I want to stay here. Except that your true self, your inner self, is longing for peace, longing for happiness, longing for joy, longing for inspiration. Except that a lot of people are still holding to their ego.
So struggle is a good thing.
It is a good thing because I would always believe that it's your expansion as a human being. It's my expansion to expand and grow myself internally, so that if I want, let's say, if the income is billion US dollars, I need to be stronger inside.
True. Yeah.
I need to prepare myself. So therefore, whoever is a gift of pain and betrayal in my life is also a gift of expansion and growth. So either you look at it as pain, look at it as growth, still your choice.
So that's mindset. This thing never stops, right?
Yeah.
I think even if you're in,
No.
Zen mode and everything,
Yeah, it's like a constant battle.
The world,
You have
your perspective changes.
You have to understand that the only permanent in this world is change.
Yeah.
And if we resist change simply because we're so comfortable, okay, I have to be very honest. No? For the past 6 years, I have this business who's been doing great. We're just celebrating year after year after year. Up until this year, it's the worst. And a lot of times, people will resort to fear, doubt, and worry. All of my teammates, almost 300 of us. And I said, you know what? Interesting, because if this is something we want to learn today, we declared we want to be $1 billion. We want to be $1 billion on our 10th year, and we're just on our 6th year. If we don't go through this and we die down because we're discouraged, we're out of our game. Come to think of it, all of the most painful experience, especially in business, got you to where you are today.
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
So, therefore, when these people show up and say, thank you, you're preparing me for my next level, except that am I willing to suspend my ego? Am I willing to just be, all right, this is a gift? Because I would always say the faster I let go, extend it to gratitude, even blessing those people who hurt you the most. Because the only principle here is what I do unto you is I do unto me.
I totally agree with you with everything you said, but I'm going to challenge you here. Because, okay, we live in a very competitive world,
Yes.
right? Let's talk about sports. Most of the athletes, they have ego, right? And it fuels them to perform at their highest level, right?
Yep.
So it's nice, but a lot of people that I know, they're very peaceful, or they claim to be peaceful, or they're happy with their life at a certain age, right? It's just because they were lazy. It's also an excuse,
Yep.
right? And then on the other hand, you would hear them talk about some of their regrets, right? They would be like, I'm happy, I'm fulfilled, I'm doing this, but only if I did this when I was 30 years old.
Yep.
So you could be, the world has kind of changed, right? I understand we need to be peaceful and everything. You could be sitting in a cave, like let's go 500 years back, right? 1,000 years back. You could be sitting in a cave and you need to be peaceful,
Yeah.
or else you'll lose your mind, right? In today's world, if you're sitting and, I mean, what's the fine line
Okay.
there, right? What's the
I'll
fine
tell
line?
you, okay, people can go extreme.
Yeah.
Okay, this one, I'm mission driven. I want to help people. I want to be peaceful, happy, but I'm broke. This one, I'm creating. I'm winning. I'm top. I'm the best of the best. I'm earning millions.
Don't have
but
peace.
I'm stressed. But I don't have peace of mind. Right? What I learned from Michael Singer, we call it the surrender experiment. We have to have a practice of being peaceful, happy at the moment, and still make sure that you have a huge vision larger than where you are today. Because if you don't have huge vision, you'll just be staying here and do nothing. Versus being able to just be peaceful at the moment and happy and excited and enjoy the process, and making sure that I have a large vision. I have a large, I call it MTP, massive transformative purpose to change the world. Then you can actually be in the middle to support both. So it's both a practice of still be at Zen, and you notice personally in terms of my finances, because I planned my finances really well in the past 30 years, I can live a life not working anymore. But here's the thing.
So you can be more zen at this stage.
Exactly.
Yes.
But here's the thing. Okay? In my team, I'm up the earliest. Okay, and work, which means I have no extra time. I work like crazy. But I'm happy, I'm joyful. I'm inspiring simply because, yes, I'm peaceful and zen, and I still want to play the big game. For what sake? It's my calling. It's what I know I was born with, to help other people have the same mindset and share this.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think we learned a lot.
Yeah,
And this was a good
I
discussion.
already feel that my mind is expanding. And guys, I forgive you all. And I forgive myself too. So thank you so much. Is there any questions we didn't ask you today that you want to talk about?
I saw you asking that what is greatness?
Yeah, what is
I was-
greatness?
I was ready to answer
Yes.
that.
Yes, what is
The
greatness?
important
Alright.
question. We
Yeah.
got so much into meditation
Yeah.
and stuff.
Alright.
It's interesting. Yeah, what is greatness to you?
Greatness is knowing and living and believing who I am,
Mhm.
and being a blessing to the world. So, which means I call it self-assurance, that I am assured of who I am, that I know that I work my way to really go deep into who I am by hacking my past through forgiveness, hacking my present with mindfulness, but yet I won't stop because I want to hack my future with enoughness. Meaning it's a never-ending quest for growing and expanding myself so I can be of service to others. And for me, that's greatness.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much for
much.
coming.
Thank
You're
you so
welcome.
much.
Thank
Coach
you.
Ross.
Thank
Yeah.
you.